theme song is so powerful. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Welcome
Welcome.
back to this week's edition of Nothing But the Truth with
Brother Jamil.
and Sister Tisha. We're very grateful that you're here, and we thank you for watching. We thank you for tuning in. You could have done anything else on a Thursday night, but you're here with us, and we intend to justify you spending time with us tonight. You know how it goes around here. Everybody, go into the chat section, the comment section. Let us know where you're watching from and who you are so we can welcome you. The family's getting bigger and bigger. Sister Juanita, tell us where you're watching from. I see Sister Juanita in the room. Let us know what city you're watching from because we want to make sure we shout you and your town out. Why do we do that? Because we're expanding
Uh-huh.
a message of freedom, justice, and equality, but we not all uptight about it. What we want you to do is stop by your friend's house, have a cup of coffee with that cool couple, next door.
That's right.
That's us, and yeah, well, she's really more cool than I.
I mean,
So yeah, we talk about that. But we are here to discuss today's issues, to talk about what's going on, to enjoy our lives and find ways to share that enjoyment with other folks.
that's
So
right.
we have Sister Juanita. She's from Arlington, Texas.
Whoop, whoop.
All right, there's Sister-in-law Trisha Reed. She's on
Hey,
the line
Trish.
from Dallas, Texas. Look like this is a Texas show tonight. I
I
don't know.
mean,
I don't know if it's all Texas, but
no.
it might be.
No, it's a
Folks are
couple in
checking
there.
in from everywhere. Our brother Derek 3X from Rahway, New Jersey. We are happy to see you, brother, and happy to hear you come into the room again. Tonight's show and program is remarkably informative. So let's get through the housekeeping things that are still pleasurable to do.
Mm-hmm.
We want to remind you that every Thursday at 8 o'clock, we're right here on YouTube and on the Facebook Live, on Tisha Muhammad's page, and on Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Tisha on YouTube. And we provide that kind of conversation that we hope will be beneficial to you and to your family. There are other things going on in the nation. What else is going on? Well, the number one program is going on every week. We're happy to announce to you and place the photograph as if by miraculous magic right there. You can see the front cover of the baddest, boldest, bravest, blackest newspaper anywhere on the planet, The Final Call. This week, detailing the savagery of life in America,
Mm.
random shootings, police violence, black on black crime, domestic violence. All of these things are added up to a toxic soup. And there is an antidote. And we want to share that antidote with you tonight. So make sure you pick up your copy of the Final Call News. It's available from the Final Call representative near you. And we also want to remind you that every week we're back and we're always looking to add on to the family. Speaking of the family, Brother William is with us tonight. Hey,
Hey,
nephew.
Brother William.
William from Oakland, California. Did y'all see the pictures of Brother William in Oakland
On the horse.
on the horse? You saw that with the boater and the suit, and then he had his chin up like this. He's doing the whole Mussolini thing. I'm riding a horse.
He's so out of
Oh yeah, he was doing his thing. So that's Brother William in Oakland.
Look at Brother Dave.
This is nothing but the truth.
You
Family.
see Brother Dave?
I don't see Brother Dave. What's Brother Dave talking about?
Okay,
Brother Dave from College Park, Georgia.
Something's wrong with him.
What he saying?
From the kitchen with a box of Miss Biscuits in a biscuit mixer. Say it. What?
From the
Okay, wait.
I don't
From the
understand.
kitchen with. I don't get it, Dave. I
From
don't
the
get
kitchen
it.
with a box of mixed biscuits.
With the biscuit mix.
It must be a tongue twister, and
Say
we appreciate you so very, very much.
Biscuit
Uh,
eater.
From Wynn, Arkansas, Brother John Muhammad, John and Sister Carol from Wynn, Arkansas. Good to see y'all. Arkansas and Texas in here strong tonight. I don't know what it is.
My people.
That's our people, and we are very, very, very glad to see you. A couple of things on a serious note, dear folks. We are still, and we're just touching on this, but we are still working to remain vigilant and not fall prey
Mm.
to these scammers on Facebook and on social media and on the internet. Be careful. Don't send money to anybody that you don't know and haven't spoken with.
Right.
Don't do anything that would cause you to lose what you're working hard for. You were going to say something, hon?
That's the key that you've spoken with, because the scammers are showing you a small video clip of Jamil, but you haven't spoken to him. And on the clip, you can't hear anything. That's how they're getting you. You see it, and then it hangs up, and then you call. You're like, "Oh, that was him," and you give. No, reach out. If somebody is asking you for something, contact them, because this stuff is real out here.
And this validates what my grandmother used to say. I hate a damn thief.
Mm-hmm.
That's a direct quote from Granny. Okay. I hate a damn thief. You can look it up.
Okay.
But we want to make sure that we continue to remain vigilant as we go forward. So, lots of things happening.
Uh-huh.
Yes, next week we have an in depth look at domestic violence and intimate partner violence as a phenomenon in the Black community and how we can solve it. Don't miss next week's show. Don't miss the week after that, because we have the up to the minute with the next thing coming from Chicago Modest Fashion Week and its founder, Sister Carmen Muhammad. That's going to be powerful.
Yes.
You really can't afford to miss Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Teasha. And I got to tell you, I love that green and orange. You looking good
Thank
in
you.
those colors tonight. I got to tell you. And you know, we don't flirt on the air.
We don't do that.
You look good, though, girl.
Yeah. I'm representing FAMU for my sister Shantae.
Okay. Rattlers.
I want her to order me some more of that good coffee that she
Right.
has. So I'm
Rattlers, FAMU, Tallahassee. Okay.
put colors on.
I see you. It's working. It's working, though.
Hey, Sean, can I get some more of that coffee?
Maybe we're on the air. All right. We're on the air. All right. Very good. Now tell us, hon, who's in your room? And let's get right to the housekeeping, because we got a guest that's got plenty good information for us tonight.
We got Wanda McDonald.
Where's she from?
She's calling. She's joining us from Dallas, Texas. Let's
Uh-huh.
go back up. Oh, by the way, Brother Dave said you messed it up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sure we did.
John Muhammad from Wayne, Arkansas. Let me see. Got Brother William. Got Brother Harold. Brother Harold's in the house.
Brother Harold from Greensboro, North Carolina. Good to see you and Sister Vanita, dear brother.
Uh-huh. Amina P. Muhammad.
All right, from Boston, Massachusetts.
You got my brother Derek 3X from
We got-
Rahway.
We got Brother Derek, not in Rahway. He's in the city of Rahway, but he's not inside Rahway. We need to make that kind of distinction.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Go right
Sister
ahead.
Sonia's here.
All
from
right.
Monroe.
From Monroe, Louisiana, Sister Sonia, the brains behind a whole lot of good things going on in our community. Good to see you and Brother Nasir and the family gathered around your devices and watching. It surprised me, Teasha, to see how many folks watch this program on the big screen television in their living rooms or dens. We are so honored, to come into your homes and that you let us be there. We intend to say things that are good and that honor you and that lift you and that show respect for you and your striving to do the right thing. So I'm going to turn you over to the world's most beautiful host. She's going to tell you some good things. We're going to jump right into the conversation with our, not really a guest, but with our sister, Katrina. So let's go ahead. Teasha?
All right, everybody. Welcome again for another wonderful edition of Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Teasha. Right now, we don't want to belabor anything. We want to get right to it, but I want to remind you to help us grow this platform. And you can do that by going over to YouTube and subscribing to our channel. Hit like, share, and subscribe all the podcasts on there. And then go over to Facebook and do the same. Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Teasha. Go ahead and follow us on that platform, Instagram, and TikTok. Okay? Ready to get started?
I think we're ready to get started.
Started.
And it's our honor and privilege once again to bring back before these cameras and microphones a sister who is no stranger to any of us in the community that struggles to do right. She is an intellectual and professional dynamo in her own person. And what she has done in writing this book that we'll be talking about tonight, Relationship Talks, a guide to meaningful conversations for couples in courtship, engagement, and marriage, can actually supply you with information right here during the next 50 minutes that could change your life.
That's right.
Brothers and sisters, let's bring our sister back on the line. Sister Katrina Muhammad is with us all the way from Chicago. There she is.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam. Glad to have you back, sister. I know that you've been working and traveling, and so the fact that you're back in front of the microphones, we're going to get right to it. I'm going to turn this conversation over to Sister Teasha, who's going to start the discussion with you. And then if I can get back in there, I will, but I'll be paying close attention and writing down everything.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Happy to be back.
Yes, welcome, welcome. We love
Thank
it.
you.
Tell us tonight what we're going to discuss today with the audience.
Well, we're going to discuss relationship talks and a chapter on education and religion. But before that, I would be remiss if I didn't give a proper shout out to a group of people of whom I got a chance to know very well and to work with. And I thank Allah for that opportunity. And this is for Sister Katrina Muhammad and the Chicago Modest Fashion Week that just happened here in Chicago. And it was wonderful. I'm sure you've been seeing the pictures and the video all over the internet. It was amazing. And the best part about it was the expression of the young people, their happiness, their excitement, their beautiful smiles. They were just so happy. They were so happy. The girls were so happy to dress up, and their families were in the audience, and everyone was applauding them and supporting them. And it was just a beautiful vision of a cultural event in our nation to support the young people and also to support fashion designers in our industry.
Yes.
I mean, our wonderful student captain, national captain, Sister Naima, had this fabulous sewing class for all the sisters, and we got a chance to sew on our own machines and learn hand sewing and machine sewing. And so to see the full circle of that into an actual global or international fashion show that Sister Carmen envisioned and put together with people who were doing a visual virtual show for those that were unable to get to the United States. And then also, of course, the live in-person show. I mean, it was just phenomenal. It was a wonderful weekend, and I'm very thankful, very thankful. So I'd like to give a shout out to Sister Katrina Muhammad and congratulate her. I'd like to congratulate Sister Sonia, which was really like her right-hand person. She is a sister captain, student captain in her city. She's watching. I think you mentioned her name.
Monroe, Louisiana.
Yes, and also congratulations to her and all the student laborers there and the believers, because they're now Muhammad Mosque number 99, and they will have a celebration to celebrate that coming up soon. So make sure you reach out to Sister Sonia. I'm getting my plane ticket. I'm coming. I'm sponsoring. I'm getting the advertisement, whatever I need to do to support Muhammad Mosque number 99. I'm so happy and so proud that we got another mosque on the book. So that's huge. That's a huge accomplishment. So then also there was Sister Yavanka Muhammad here out of Chicago. She's a phenomenal photographer. She was our social media manager. Sister Abasaya Muhammad from Ben Harbor. She was the media manager. She did an excellent job. Sister Aisha Muhammad. She was the host manager. She's out of B More, right next to you all.
Yep.
And also Sister Joy X out of Detroit. Sister Joy is so talented. First of all, she's a designer. She has these luxury bags, which I have to purchase. I have to get one. After seeing all of them, I'm like, I have to get one. But she was also a stylist in the show. So she was also on the team. She did an excellent job. Sister Hanifa and Brother Nuri out of Detroit. They have their own modeling agency, and they're the ones you're going to be interviewing in a couple of weeks with Sister Carmen. So I think that the information they're going to share is going to be amazing, because it's true. Our girls who want to model or get into the fashion industry, they have to go through white-owned modeling agencies. And many times those type of agencies take advantage of young girls. So to have a Muslim a husband and wife team with a modeling agency, Black Muslims, I mean, that's phenomenal. So really happy for them. And then of course there was a assistant student minister, and I'm sure you know him, brother Jamil, is Brother Hannibal.
Yes, from Phoenix.
Muhammad, yes, out of Phoenix, Arizona. He designed that fabulous website that's still up. If you go to it today, you'll see it. He's very talented. He also designed the billboard ads that were put up around Chicago, and I believe some of the flyers as well. And I think Sister Hanifa and Brother Nuri also designed some of the flyers. And then last but not least, brother Cecil, uh, brother Cecil, Bruce Cecil, who is out of Los Angeles. He was the producer. And this brother is so talented. I mean, he's booked for shows like the Grammys and everything else. So, I mean, he brought that level of professionalism in the production of the show that was just amazing. And you could see it in the videos, and inshallah, other productions that Sister Carmen will put out. So, I mean,
Yes.
between all these people, and I don't know if I mentioned too, Sister Sonia was an executive producer. I need to say that she wasn't just an assistant; she was an executive producer. I mean, it was just amazing. And then little old me, I was the marketing and sales girl. So I mean, I was happy to give of my talents. But I mean, really, it was just a great thing for our nation. So I had to give a shout out to the team.
That was a shout out.
That was, that was, that was a thorough shout out. Yes, yes.
that was a thorough shout out. I didn't want to forget anybody.
But no, but don't worry, sisters and brothers. We will be back talking with Sister Carmen on these airwaves, inshallah, on the 28th of July. You don't want to miss it because it's an opportunity for you and I to understand what we are involved in and the worldwide significance of this great, great effort to resurrect the people from the grave of ignorance. It's a powerful, powerful thing that we're doing. Let's shift gears now, if you don't mind,
Let's do it.
to a book that has become essential for many people as they build the blocks of their relationships, coming out of wherever they've been and headed into wherever they're going. They want to go in the right way. So, relationship talks has become an essential aspect of how families are built, couples are formed, and marriages are forged into strong units for the cause of our people. I'm going to turn it over to Tisha back right now. It's the great Sister Tisha, and she'll take you into this discussion because I think it's so important that we hear some of what we're going to hear tonight. I'm going to give it over to you, Tisha.
All right. Relationship talks is one of my favorite subjects of this show.
Oh, good.
I am so glad that you are back here again, Sister Katrina, to take us into another chapter in this book, because this book is so needed by all of us in our community. Newlyweds, those in courtship, those have been married forever. So we want to jump right in to whichever chapter you want to guide us through this week.
I thought we would start with something new, the education and religion chapter. And for those of your viewers that are just now watching, Relationship Talks is a book that I wrote, I guess, almost a year ago. And it's full of questions, over 2,000 questions. I don't give you the answers. The answers are determined between you and your spouse or your courtmate or your fiance who you may be engaged to. It is an opportunity for you to sit literally across from each other and have a conversation to learn your most inner thoughts, what you're thinking, how you feel about things. And so this chapter is about religion and education. And all the chapters are different. There's food and diet, family and friends. And the very first chapter is on finance, since that's like the number one reason for divorce. So in this chapter, one of the first questions we talked about is question number 2. I'll read it. Do you dress as a Muslim or Christian? So this book is written for everyone, at work and in your private life. Meaning, do you cover and dress with modesty? And so you'll notice in that question, I don't put a gender because men are expected to dress modestly as Muslims, right? As well as women. So this question applies to both people. And it gives the man and the woman the opportunity to talk about how they like to present themselves in private and in public. And then it's important that you are compatible in that area. Because I think one of the worst things that could happen is to marry someone and you are in one place in your faith where you are comfortable dressing as a Muslim woman, wearing your headscarf or your headpiece, and then your spouse is not, and they really don't want you to dress like that in public, or vice versa. You know, maybe you dress more modest or covered at home, but out in public, you're not. and then your spouse is looking at you like, what's going on? why are you showing all of that? You need to cover up. And then next thing you know, you're having these disagreements and arguments about some things that could have been discussed in the courtship phase of your relationship to make sure you were on the same page. So that's what this question is about.
Mhm.
Wow. And so, may I ask you something?
Go ahead.
So, in that, the practical application of that, and I suppose there's something here because the question about at work,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
Do you run into many people in the faith community who are afraid to be as modest as they would like to be in their workplace because they fear retribution or loss of employment? And how do you handle that when they ask you that kind of question?
I think there's a lot of pressure on Muslims, people of a certain faith that are very distinguishable by their headdress or something specific. Um, in this country, as we all know, many times people like that get attacked at work. They get singled out. They get pressured, and so sometimes people have a persona at work that is completely opposite from their personal life, and they like to keep it separate. And then there are some that are like, you know what, this is who I am. I'm going to wear my hijab or my scarf or whatever it is. And if it's a job where I can't dress like that, then that's a place where I don't want to work. So, I mean, it's everyone is different, right? And it's a personal decision. And it's not a reflection of how you feel about Allah, or if you're a Christian, how you feel about God. It's really a personal decision. And so it's something that needs to be discussed between the couples, so that everyone is in agreement and understanding, and not making assessments or judgments on each other that may be unfair. Just have the conversation. And especially for women, if you're at work, I mean, there was at one point, especially during 9/11 and all of that, Muslim women were being attacked
Mhm.
Yes,
in
yes.
grocery stores, walking to their car. I mean, it was very dangerous to be a Muslim woman by yourself in the daytime,
Mhm.
just going to the post office. They were being attacked the way we've seen recently Asians have been attacked in broad daylight, right? So that's it becomes like a security issue, and you have to be very wise. I mean, the minister has actually spoken on this. If you remember, I'm sure you do, Brother Minister Jamil, that we don't necessarily have to wear our faith on our sleeve. We know who Allah is, and Allah knows us. You don't have to prove that to anyone. And we
Right.
have to be cognizant and aware of our environment, because we're taught to always be on the alert.
That's right.
So for us in the nation, I mean, we have that understanding, but for others in other faiths or other communities, maybe not so much. Maybe there's more pressure on our Arab, Middle Eastern sisters to wear their hijab, regardless of wherever they are. And then that becomes an issue.
Yeah.
So
All right.
it's something that the couples need to discuss.
Thank you.
Beforehand.
Thank you.
Yep.
You're watching right now Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Teasha. Our special family member slash guest tonight is Sister Katrina Muhammad, the author of Relationship Talks. She's discussing her watershed book, and we want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to get into the discussion. Feel free to enter your comment or question in the comment section of whatever format, or YouTube or Facebook. However, you enter the comment into the section, do that. We'd like to make sure we put your question in front of Sister Katrina if at all possible. But this is Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Teasha, and we're going back to more and more questions. And thank you, Brother William. He promises to be good today. All right. This will be the first time.
Praise
So
Allah.
first time for everything, isn't it?
He
I'm gonna-
had a question about, do you have anything in the book about insurance and life and health and all of that? So we'll have to address that one.
Yeah, I mean, we do. We have an entire chapter on health, privacy and health. Lots of questions regarding that because, believe it or not, people get married and they have not shared each other's health status. They don't know anything about the other person's health. They just look at them and say, oh, he looks healthy, she looks healthy. And yet, no one knows anything, that the person is suffering from a heart condition, or they have diabetes, or they have arthritis, or they suffered from a very bad accident in their youth, and they had several broken bones that still cause them problems today. They just don't even talk about it. And so there are lots of questions in this book regarding privacy and health. And with regards to insurance, definitely that's in the finance chapter. Many people roll around here with no insurance. We talk about that. We went through the finance chapter for a long time on this show. And yes, you need to discuss that. You need to discuss if a person has a will and testament. You need to discuss if all sorts of other financial and business aspect is in order. And that has been discussed. So, an insurance from the perspective of financial, and insurance in terms of health insurance. As well. We've discussed that. So yes, you need to ask those questions.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Let's get back to tonight's discussion. Sister Teasha, I know you have the queued questions. There's so much we want to cover. Go right ahead.
I want to look at number 18, if we can. This is a big one that really should be discussed.
Yes.
Would you like me to read, or you want to read that one?
Oh, you can read it. Yes, ma'am.
Number 18. Should believers marry men or women not registered in their church or mosque, meaning marrying someone not sharing your religious faith? How does that make you feel? What does that mean? Should believers of different faiths marry?
That's a serious question. I mean,
serious question.
Yeah, I mean, we see this a lot. And so women are more so apt to go in the direction of where their spouse is. So I think women definitely need to be careful about this, because you're marrying someone and you're like, yeah, he's Buddhist and I'm this, but I'll never be, I'll never go to the Buddhist temple. And the next thing you know, slowly but surely, you got the Buddhist temple, because our nature is to submit and to follow our spouse. Our spouse is the leader of the home. So if your spouse is not of the same faith with you, and you're talking about you need to go to the mosque or you need to go to Savior's Day, and your spouse does not partake in any of that, that could be a problem down the road. Maybe not in the beginning, but a problem down the road. And to that point, I've met married couples when I did some research for this book. They were of different faiths. They had children. So they didn't even think it was an issue until the children came, and then it became an issue, because one person wanted the child to go to the church that they were brought up in and raised in, Baptist, and the other person wanted the child to be Muslim. And so there was this, balance act that they tried to do for a while, but this eventually became another problem. Let's just say that in the marriage, there were other problems, but this became one more problem of the spouses, the partners not on the same page.
Okay. And in the comment section, we see from Moss number 99 in Monroe, Sister Captain Sonia, she says you should definitely be equally yoked.
Exactly. And the minister has talked about this. There's no subject the minister has not talked about. Let me make that clear. So anyone that is not in the Nation of Islam, or you're watching this show for the first time, first of all, congratulations, you're watching an excellent show. But you can always look up these topics to say, well, what did the minister say? What did the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan say? And you can YouTube it. You can go to noi.org. I mean, his information is out there, and there are lectures on every single topic. So he has talked about this as well. And Sister Student Captain Sonia Muhammad is correct. We need to be equally yoked. If we're not, and we're getting in these relationships, marriages, entanglements, I don't know what you want to call them, it creates a problem when you have not had a conversation, relationship talks with whoever that other person is, and then you wake up and next thing you know, you're like, wait a minute, who are you? Wait a minute. I thought we were in agreement.
Right.
You thought wrong. You never discussed it.
Never discussed it. Brother David C., Big Dave C. from Atlanta has an interesting question. He says, does being equally yoked simply mean being in the same religion? It's an
No,
interesting question.
it does not, which is why this book contains over 2,000 questions. My brother David is on point because you can't.
Biscuit Dave. Is that Biscuit Dave?
Biscuit Day. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Biscuit Dave. Those questions are working for him because he's on point. You cannot just say, oh, he's Muslim, she's Muslim, we're going to get along. There's so many subjects to discuss, so many things to have a conversation about. And if you don't have a conversation about those things, how do you know you're compatible? How do you know you're of like mind? I mean, all of that needs to be discussed.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Back to you, Sister Teasha.
All right, everybody. We are now at the bottom of the hour. We need to take our small break for the bottom of the hour. While we're doing the bottom of the hour, please get your questions ready for part 2 of Relationship Talks with Sister Katrina Muhammad. We'll be right back.
Hey, everybody. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
We got news. Did you just say walaikum
I did.
salam?
Sorry, keep going.
Yeah. But we have got a program that you're going to love. It's called Nothin But The Truth with
Brother Jamil
and Sister Teasha. We come on every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 on the West Coast. And we love to have you drop by and join us.
That's right.
Why? What are we going to do? We talk to folks. It's like dropping by your cousins in them house and them. And to have a cup of coffee and talk about what's going on in the world, what's happening, what's been interesting to you. So come on by every Thursday on YouTube. Go by, subscribe, Nothin But The Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Teasha. Or go by the Facebook page of Teasha Muhammad, Teasha Muhammad.
That's right.
And watch our program. I think they'll love it, don't you?
I think they would, and we'd love to have you.
Peace.
See you Thursdays. All right, we're back.
We are back.
I
And
love
welcome
your
back from the
Best
in the-
commercials ever.
Thank you, sister. We want to also bring a seat up to the round table for our family members in Bloomington, Illinois. Our dear music director, Brother Gary Muhammad. That's he who is responsible for those wonderful guitar tunes. Go ahead. I know you want to hum it. Go ahead. Go. Yeah. Okay.
Have my lips already.
Yes, your lips already. I know you want to say it, but that's Brother Gary in Bloomington. And he's there. We want to welcome Sister Angela Muhammad from Jacksonville, Florida. She's with us tonight. And of course, so many, Brother Charles L. Muhammad, also
He's from
Dallas, Texas. And so we're grateful to see so many of you gathering. Keep on coming into the room. There are more seats available for you, and there is an ear to hear your question. Tonight's interview is being handled in the main by our co-host and the greatest co-host, because she tells me to say it every time I say co-host. Say it. But Sister Teasha was handling this discussion, and I'm fascinated to hear it. So, Sister Teasha, go right back ahead. You and Sister Katrina are having a great conversation.
We are. This is great. This is good stuff. All right, family, we're back. Remember to put your questions into the comments section, and we'll be sure to address those for you. But we're going to get right back into some of the questions from Relationship Talks concerning education and religion. And again, these are things that you must ask during the courtship process, because you don't want to fall for the okie doke and then be surprised after the fact and be like, what? I didn't know you thought that. You didn't ask. All right, Sister Katrina, let's address question number 101.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, that's a good question. It says, if your family is not supportive of your religious decision, how does that make you feel? And how does it impact you? This is a good question because our families have a lot of sway over us. And whoever it is that you are courting, you need to know this because your children will be around them. You and your courtmate, soon to be husband or wife, will be around them. And if they are some individuals that can't stand Islam and you're marrying another Muslim, that could potentially be a problem. You need to know, because that person's sphere of influence is their family. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's a deal breaker. It doesn't have to be, but it is something that you need to know. And you also need to know how it affects your soon to be spouse. So these are things like you're talking about to get to know that person and to see what level they're on, and see if it matches or is compatible with you. So that's why this question is here. But certainly, I mean, we don't pick and choose our family, maybe our friends, but our family, we don't.
Right.
So it's important to know you're marrying that person, you're marrying into their family. And
Mhm.
that whole family is now becoming your family. So you need to know them.
And then another question that kind of has to deal with that one too, and this is dealing with your children though. So I could see this with someone who has older children. Number 87. Do you have children that do not practice the same faith that you practice? Explain.
Right. I mean, this in some cases, again, doesn't have to be a deal breaker. But if you have grown children and the children want to come back and move home, and the children are drinking and eating pork and doing all sorts of other things, and you're trying to maintain a Muslim home, well, that's something you're going to have to discuss and talk about, because that can bring disharmony and disunity and possibly chaos in what should be a peaceful environment, right?
Right.
So, yeah,
Excellent.
this is something that needs to be discussed. I mean, no one says necessarily, put the children out, that sort of thing, because they're your children. But obviously, you do have to take in consideration your spouse and the home and the atmosphere and the energy that the two of you are trying to create in your home and trying to maintain in your home. And anyone that's disrupting that, then that's a conversation that needs to be had for sure. So yeah, I mean, this one, question number 88, I think. Have you ever left your faith at any point? If so, for what reason? I mean, people go through things in life, right? And it's not to judge them, but
Right.
it's let's have a conversation about it, right? Question number 11. Should couples attend religious study groups together regularly? What does that mean to you? For example, daily, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, or
Mhm.
only on religious holidays? So someone,
Wow.
right, who wants to go to Friday night study group, they want their spouse to go to Friday night study group with them. They find that to be very beneficial for them, and they enjoy it, and they want the person of whom they're considering to marry to also feel that way. But if you find out in the course of this question, the person's like, yeah, I don't go to any study groups. I don't like to do that. I have other things to do, and it has nothing to do with work. Yeah, I only just come to Savior's Day. Like,
Wow.
I
Right.
didn't really come on Sunday. And then here you are, an active, believer or someone active in your church, and you go to Bible study on Wednesday night or whatever. I mean, that could potentially be a problem marrying
Mhm.
someone who doesn't see the value in attending these meetings, either in the church or the mosque or wherever you go, and you're just not on the same page.
Let me
So,
interject here. Let me interject here, sister,
yes, yes,
if
sir.
I may. What I love about the way this book is written, and I think Sister Tisha and I have spoken about this off camera, is that you are not judging people
No.
and saying, okay, you got to get out of here. Because as some of us listen, if someone told you that I'm only going to Savior's Day and I don't like Sunday meetings or Friday nights or Bible study on Wednesday, or I don't
Mhm.
like the Baptist Temperance Union meeting on Saturday at 6
Mhm.
o'clock. I don't like none of that. I just want to go on Easter Sunday and that's it. When you hear that kind of thing, there is a part of you that says, okay, there's the door, get out of
Mhm.
here. But you don't ever tell people to say that. But
Right.
certainly that's one of a number of responses that could come up. I think it's also important to note, and we'll go back to the chats and comments for more questions in just a moment, but I think it's also important to note that you take into account that things change.
Uh-huh.
Things change. I mean, you talked about people who purposely hide that they were in an accident and their bones were broken, or they purposely hide that they have a particular health condition or a financial difficulty or a criminal record, right? There are some other folks who don't hide those things, but then conditions come up as a result of those things that neither of the couple expected to happen. And so, what I think is good about what you're doing here is you're building a base from which people can sort of operate together and deal with the problem instead of looking at each other as if they are the problem. If that makes any sense.
Yes, sir.
Make sense what I'm saying?
Sense.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Exactly. And I'm so glad you said that, because you have to be compatible. This is what's creating the disunity in marriages. And then next thing you know, there's one issue that leads to a second issue, to a third issue. And then now there's schisms in the marriage. And then now you have couples divorcing. The whole point of me writing this book is I realized we were in a state of emergency in terms of the Black family. And we are not, and not because we have all these bad people walking around. Maybe there are some people who are, they're not, marriage is not for them, right? And they don't really want to subscribe to that, right? But I think there are a lot of people marrying each other that are not having these discussions to make sure they're marrying the right person for them. And that was the whole point of this book, to say, look, let's slow down. Let's ask each other the right questions in courtship to make sure that we're compatible. Nothing is wrong with that. And if we find out that we're not, guess what? All praises due to Allah. Brother, I wish you well. I hope you find the right wife for you. Sister, he should be saying the same thing to her, right? I want you to be happy with whoever it is that Allah has made for you to be happy with, not marrying the wrong person, because I'm thinking of all the wrong reasons: how somebody looks, the money they have, their prestige, their name, their position, who knows, whatever, all these things, all these reasons that people marry people for, and it's not the right reason.
Right.
It should be what's in their heart, what's in their mind. Are we in alignment? Are we in agreement? And if you're not, you shouldn't be together. I mean, it's just that simple, So then there's this question here, 53. If you attended the Million Man March in 1995, did you set goals or make a pledge? What did you pledge? Have you completed your goals? Why or why not? I think this is an important question because, first of all, that event was a profound event. It was the most important event in our lifetime or ever. And if there are men that went to that event, then the woman definitely should be asking, how did that impact you?
Right.
What happened to you after attending that event? The minister, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, asked the brothers to make a pledge at that event that they said out loud.
Right.
So now we're talking about a person keeping their word, because you made a pledge. That means you gave your word. Right. So what did you give your word to do? And did you follow through on your word? Did you do what you said you were going to do in 1995?
Right.
It's 2022.
Right. 27 years later. And there are a group of young people who could not have attended the Million Man March. They were too young, but they are at an age where they can marry and start a healthy family. Exactly. So these discussions become essential. And it's also important that we don't let the Million Man March die as an event in the history of our people.
Say your name.
Right. And it's very important. And it was a moving day. I couldn't even begin to describe to you how beautifully moving that event was. It's burned into my memory forever. And I thank Allah that I was able to be there with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and 1.8 million of our closest friends.
I saw it on TV. I was like, oh my God, this is phenomenal. Like, this is amazing. And still to this day, you hear people talk about how that event changed their lives. And so for me, I had to include that in the book because it was a life-changing event. And so then what happened after that, right? So questions like that, questions like number 64, have you completed the self-improvement study guides? What were your self-improvements? Question like number 92, what is a pleasure moment you remember from your mosque or your church? Are you happy in your faith, right? Because maybe there's some people going to church and they unhappy, but they keep going every Sunday. But they complaining, they unhappy. So are you actually really happy in your faith?
Wow.
You know? Are you practicing your faith? Are you living your faith, or do you just go on Sunday, you pay your tithes, and you're out of there?
You know what?
Embrace your faith, you know?
This book makes you ask questions of each other, but it makes you focus on yourself as well.
I heard that.
The other person is going to ask you the questions too, and you got to really reflect on this answer. Like you digging to find out about somebody else. I want to know.
Right.
What
he gonna say about this? Right,
yeah.
right.
People ask you too.
And it's funny, teacher, when the book was being written, and I had the manuscript, I was blessed to be one of the first folks to view and read the manuscript and draft of the book as it came into shape. Everybody knows this story. I read it in one day.
Yes.
And that evening I called Sister Katrina. I was like, wait, this is happening. This is great. You got to know what's going on here, right?
Wow.
I call her and we go over the questions. And I said to her just what you said. That's why I was smiling, because it made me look not only at the potential courtmate, but at myself. And so when we used it in our courtship before marrying, the fact that you were insistent that we dig deep into it, it gave me a great sense of comfort and a great sense of confidence that you were not just trying to skim over the top, but you were trying to dig it deep to me and to yourself and to what we can be together, because there's certainly no guarantee you won't have any trouble.
Right.
There's no guarantee you won't be challenged and presented with situations that, quite frankly, you don't want to deal with. But if you're committed to being there together and you have some way to deal with those things in an organized way, you have a much greater chance of overcoming difficulty. I like what Dr. Nisa Islam says. She says that successful couples are not the ones who don't have any problems, because those couples don't exist. She said the successful couples are those who have a way to deal with the problem and rise above it. And so that's what relationship talks represent.
Well said. Very well said. You know, I was so nervous, Sister Teasha, when I asked Brother Jamil to write the foreword and to read the book. And when he called, I thought he was going to, I didn't know what he was going to say, but I was so nervous. I was like, oh, Allah, please, don't let me have embarrassed myself completely with Student Minister Jamil. And he called, he said, sister, this is brilliant. So I was just like, oh, praise Allah. But I didn't know. I was just like totally holding my breath, like, Allah, please, don't let me have embarrassed myself. Because, I'd never seen a book of nothing but questions. I didn't know if he was going to get it, if he understood it, or if he was going to be like, wow, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. He wouldn't say that, no. But I was just so nervous. And so when he responded like that and agreed to write the foreword, man, you have no idea, Student Minister Jamil, like that was everything to me, being a new author. And I just also really benefited from the male perspective, because just my parents had read the manuscript, and you know how your parents are like, oh baby, it's so nice, you did such a good job. Like they're your parents, they're gonna say that. Right. So to have a brother read it, and I didn't want to be accused of like bashing men or anything like that, because I'm not a male basher. But sometimes people see a woman wrote a book about relationships and like, she wanted them, I don't know. So I didn't want that. So I'm so glad you
can't say that about you. When you came up and I asked you specifically how you were able to use gender neutral pronouns to describe the actors and participants in events within marriages. And you talked about not wanting to bash men. That was an important part of me understanding what was happening, because there is no good in a us against them. There's no good in that kind of polemic.
Nobody wins.
That goes back, black men ain't this and black women ain't that, and they don't do this and they don't do that. No, we are one people.
Exactly.
And the black man is not going anywhere without a black woman, and the black woman cannot go another step without the black man. And Brother Dave C., I don't want to hear anything about it. It's just a comment. It's not any preaching. Back to you, Teasha.
All right, y'all, this is big. This is from Brother Charles. It's worth showing, because if anybody knows how much he loves Westerns, he said, I think I'm going to have to cut one of my Westerns loose for this show. That's a
He
compliment.
go ahead. Well,
That's a
He
compliment.
gonna-
Unsmoke or
he
wagon
gonna- I don't
train
know,
or
but he loves them. So
Because
that's a
my
big
parents love
okay.
westerns too, and nothing gets in the way of their westerns. So thank
Thank
you,
you,
Brother
Charles.
Charles.
Yeah.
Praise to Allah.
And my little sister Ashley has a question. If anybody could help her with this one, she says, "Assalamu alaikum. Could anyone share the lectures where the minister gives guidance on marrying someone of a different faith? Do y'all know of any of the lectures right off that would
He
help her?"
did speak on it, but cannot recall the name of the lecture at this time. I would say do a Google search. I love Google. I'm a Googler. If there's something I don't know, believe me, I'm Googling to find out. That's an incredible resource because it will literally take you right to the word, the document, and pull up the actual paragraph for you. So I would say definitely Google. But no, I don't know right off. Another one that's really the best, better than Google is Final Call, the Final Call newspaper website. They have a search bar, and in the search bar, if you get the Final Call digital version, you can type in there what you're looking for, and it'll pull up the lecture and the information for you as well.
Right.
So that's actually your best resource.
That's right.
Go to
Keep
Final
her
Call
knowledge.
digital and get your subscription.
That's right. Make sure you have it, Sister Ashley. You'll be glad that you do. Keyword marriage in the search bar, and it should produce some things. We are in the home stretch. We've got about 7 minutes left in the program. We don't want to delay. Teasha, are there any other comments or questions in the comment section that we want to make sure we respect the audience? Because between my wife and I, we could talk all night to Sister Katrina, and often have done so. Okay.
I love that.
But we are grateful for you joining us tonight. And Brother Charles, if you give it up your westerns, I mean that's big stuff. That's big stuff.
That's it for the comments. Oh, there's my cousin Candace. Hi, Candace.
Hey Candace.
Hi,
how are
Candace.
you?
Thanks for joining.
Okay.
Right. So yeah, we're on the final stretch. We'll be wrapping it up. We'll leave the last of the comments to Sister Katrina. But before that, I want to remind everybody about a little bit of housekeeping before we go.
Yes.
Remember, guys, we need all of your help to help us grow this platform so we can reach far and wide and share this awesome information with as many people as we can. And you can do that by simply going over to YouTube and subscribing to our channel. Go ahead and follow us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Share the platform. If you are interested in making a love donation towards the cause, you can do so by donating to our Cash App. And this is a real Cash App, not the scammers. $ BroWorks. $BROWORKS. That Cash App, any monies that are received go directly to promoting the show.
And we definitely want to thank Brother Arthur and his family from Pine Bluff,
Yes.
Arkansas, for their donation. And we want to encourage you tonight, make your donations because no donation is too small.
That's
And
right.
certainly none is too large. But we want to make sure we continue to expand and grow technologically, and we want to grow in terms of content, and we want to grow in terms of information. We are looking forward, and I'm going to let the little cat out the bag, honey. I'm not going to tell everything. But next week, when you hear from our guest, bring your questions about real situations,
Yes.
because it'll grow right out of tonight's discussion from Sister Katrina, who is, whether she uses this title or not, Sister Katrina is an expert because she has delved into this matter with the spirit in mind to serve the people of God. And because of that, that's why she's being elevated to a position of prominence in the discussion about marriages and how to build strong families. Well, this coming Sunday, a little bird told me that there'll be some hard church in Baltimore. You know what hard
Y'all
church?
know what hard church.
You know what hard church is? That's the kind where you, yes sir, yes sir.
That kind of clap.
Yeah, hard church.
Yeah. The church clap.
Yeah, we will be joined by Brother Pastor Tim Rogers and the fellas. Yes, Little Roy and Revelation, and more in Baltimore. We'll hope to bring you as much as we can by remote, but there's going to be some great stuff happening in the city. Look, we want you to live your life and enjoy it. Sister Katrina tells us in Relationship Talks that there is a place in marriage for fun, for levity, for liveliness, for humor and laughter, just like there's a place for seriousness and steadfastness. But make sure that the passion in your marriage is always there. And make sure that even if your mind don't work, you can't talk, blink that you love your wife. Just blink over at her.
Just blink.
Blink, love you.
Blink faster.
I love you very
Blink
much, baby.
faster, Neil.
Blink at her. Make sure she knows that whatever you have is hers. All right? Whatever you have is hers. Let's go back to Sister Katrina. Sister Katrina, what do we need to know going out the door today, sis?
So the last question I would really highlight is question 126. It says, would you describe yourself as well-read? What are some of your favorite books? Please explain. And so I love books. I'm a book reader. I've now written my first book. So obviously, if you are a book reader and a book lover and you're well-read, this should be important to you because hopefully you marry a spouse that also loves books, also loves reading. And then that's a passion that the two of you can share. I mean, one of my favorite places in the whole wide world beyond the mosque is a library. Absolutely love the library. And when I visit certain cities, I mean, I make a point to visit one of their libraries. I want to see the library and see what they have in the library and see the artwork that's on the wall. And, you know, I'm just one of those type of people. So if I'm with someone and they're like, that's boring, I don't want I don't want to do that. I'm not trying to read anything. You know, I mean, that might be a problem for me because I'm such a reader and I love reading. So, you know, you definitely need to discuss these things. In the back of this chapter, I have something called education and religious or religion activities, where I have specific surahs as well as chapters out of the Bible for the two of you to discuss, and some specific activities you could do together, such as attend a mosque or church meeting together, discuss the sermon or lecture, watch or discuss religious lectures together, start a book club with your core mate, fiance, or spouse, read and discuss a new book each month, start with some of the books from the supplemental reading list, which is a whole nother chapter, and so on and so forth. So, I mean, have fun, you know, get to know each other, get talking to one another so you can get a chance to learn one another. And I thank you so much, Sister Teasha and Student Minister Jamil. It's an honor to be on your show every single time, as well as your producers, DJ Rockwell, Brother Vaughn Muhammad. Thank you so much. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. That's our sister, isn't it? All right. Sister Teasha, your conclusion?
Okay. I was done.
Oh, you were done.
Okay. We're ready.
She was like, what?
I love this girl because she's real. She 100% real.
100%.
100. Family, we thank you for viewing once again, for tuning in, for spending this time with us. You could have been anywhere else and doing anything else, but you chose to be with us on another edition of Nothing But The Truth with
Brother Jamil
and Sister Teasha. And so, Allah willing and the creek don't rise, we'll be right back here next Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 on the West Coast. And we'll be talking about more great things, more good information, and we're praying that you make it healthy and strong through this next time until we see each other again by God's permission. We love you, bless you, thank you. Assalamu alaikum. We are dismissed. Peace. We out of here.